What is up, you sexy beasts? Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to another video. My name is Wykie, and today I thought I would do a bit of a longer form Q&A. I've done the old Instagram Q&As before, but I felt like doing something a little bit more intimate and in depth. So let's just jump straight into it. When did you leave South Africa, and whereabouts in South Africa are you from? So I left South Africa back in 2002. I was 15 years old, and I lived in a town called Potchefstroom. Best advice for a fresh level 1 who started coaching 2 months ago. I think when people finish their level 1 cert, they're so excited about handing over the knowledge to their members that they can kind of just vomit all that they've learned at once, like they over cue and over educate. So I think it's just, rein it in. You've got hopefully years of coaching ahead of you. So don't try and blow your members' minds on day 1 of coaching. Just keep it super simple, keep the cues minimal, and people can only absorb so much information. So just stick to one cue, focus on one cue for the session. And that's what I would say. Don't vomit all that knowledge from the weekend in your first session to your members. If you could only pick 3 workout movements for the rest of your life, what would they be? Oh, mate, that's a tough one. I think squatting has to be in there, right? I think squatting just achieves so much when it comes to just full body goodness, like core strength, leg strength, low back strength. I think squatting has to be in there. And I hate saying that because I don't enjoy squatting, but I think squatting needs to be a staple. So I'm gonna say squatting to take care of the lower body. Oh man, that's tough. I'm gonna say pull-up. I'm gonna say the pull-up. You can kind of do it anywhere, it's fun. There's lots of different variations. They'll take care of the upper body. And then I'm gonna throw running in there. So squatting, running, and pull-ups. So I can run, squat, and pull-up. I think that'll take care of majority of the body, So that's a good question. That'd be a good one to think on a bit more. Next question, what made you sell your affiliate? Also, dude, love the content. Keep it coming. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. What made me sell it? Look, I opened my gym in 2011 and I sold it in 2019. So it was 8 years of running the affiliate. And the last 3 years I was over here in Australia while the gym was over in Auckland, New Zealand. So I was running it remotely. And that was both challenging and rewarding. It was rewarding to see the gym continue to thrive and grow even without me there, to see that I've put enough systems in place to kind of have it run on autopilot with the great coaches and the management I had there. But at the same time, you kind of become disconnected from it, and there's a lot of pressure when it comes to looking after your staff when you're in a different country. So yeah, I know at the same time I found this passion of mine, video and photo, and it just felt right. It just felt like it was time to let it go. The thing I loved most about owning an affiliate was the family it gave me, the fitness family it gave me. And when I was running it remotely from here, I slowly drifted apart from my fitness family that I built there, to the point where I just felt completely disconnected from the gym. It was just a business for the sake of being a business. And I think the effort it required to continue running it from over here wasn't worth the return I got financially and relationally, if that makes sense. So yeah, it was one of those ones that was just like good timing. Hannah, can you touch your toes yet? No, Hannah, I cannot touch my toes yet. I was supposed to do a 30-day challenge of doing stretching every day, 30 minutes of stretching every day for 30 days. And Hannah actually helped me kind of measure my initial measurements for my flexibility. And then I went to the States and it just all fell apart. So I've got to get back on my 30-day challenge. It's the 1st of September. Maybe I should start today and do a full month. Maybe I'll do that. So Hannah, ask me that question again at the end of the month. My good friend Ernie, are there days you don't feel creative? If so, what's your process? Absolutely. I'd say most days I don't feel creative. I think as a creative, you always feel like you have to outdo yourself. You have to do a better photo than the last photo, a better video than the last video. You always have to kind of up yourself. And so that can be quite hard, because that's not possible. And so often days I feel like the creative juices just aren't enough today to make something. And I've got to the point now where I force myself to just make something anyway. So if I don't feel creative, I'll just turn the camera on or shoot something and just create anyway. Whether I put that thing out to the world or not, it's another story, but I try and create regardless. But to be honest, there are also those days where you just go, stuff it. I'm not picking up a camera today. I'm not doing anything creative today. I'm just gonna leave it, just leave it till tomorrow. So that happens as well. And then Ernie also asks, can creative comparison ever be a good thing? No, I don't think so. Like, I let other creators inspire me, but when I compare my work to others, it's always been negative for me. I've never compared my work with someone and came away with anything positive from that. But I certainly look at people's stuff and I allow it to inspire me. But I think it's just human nature to feel like our stuff isn't as good as their stuff, you know? And so, yeah, in my opinion, comparison is always gonna be the thief of joy, as they say. Did you yourself get fanboyed much in Madison? No, I wouldn't say fanboyed. There's definitely some creators in the CrossFit space that follow me online, and it was nice to meet some of those people in person and you know, receive some kind words from them and vice versa, you know, like we follow each other's stuff. And then, yeah, there was the odd member of the tribe. I'd say 5 to 10 people that recognized me and came and said hi. So it's such a great feeling. I love that. And I look forward to more of that at more events. Once we can travel and go to more events, is actually connecting with the community. I've said it before, but subscriber counts, like the actual number on the screen of how many people watch, it's so hard to, you know, to know how many of those people are actual, you know, human beings you can connect with and be friends with. And so it's super nice to actually make actual connections. In fact, I had a burger and a beer with one of the subscribers in Madison, which was awesome. Just this past weekend, I did some photos for a subscriber here on the Gold Coast. So yeah, those things are so cool. Goldie, what's it like? Blonde hair, fake boobs, or family friendly? Trying to convince my wife. Yeah, look, when we decided to move to the Gold Coast, or before we decided to move, I had that same kind of perception of the Gold Coast, that it's very bougie and pretentious. But my experience now being here for 6 years, sure, there's a bit of that, but the overwhelming majority of the culture here is family vibes, lots of young couples, young professionals, and you know, you can find those pockets of people that you describe anywhere in any city, I think, and the Gold Coast is no different. So yeah, there is a bit of that culture, but there's a lot more just family vibes, I would say. If your wife is watching this, let's go, do it, bring the family over. What were you most thankful for leaving quarantine? That's an easy one. Just my wife and my daughter. Like, just that separation is awful. You know, doing FaceTime and being so close. It's literally an hour up the road where I quarantined. But there's nothing quite like just, you know, holding your actual family and being able to be in the same room as them. So family for sure, and then exercise, like exercising in fresh air. One piece of advice for a new CrossFit enthusiast. My one piece of advice would be to not get caught up in the 1-rep maxes. Don't get caught up in the numbers, you know, the test numbers. Just enjoy the process. It's such a cliche answer, isn't it? But one thing I've found really helpful, even in recent days, is getting inspired by my percentages going up. You know, just the actual percentages that you're doing your sets at. So if your gym works with percentages, then awesome. You know, let those things inspire you rather than the absolute 1-rep maxes, because you know, they're going to improve heaps over the first year or two, but quickly they're going to plateau out, and the 1-rep maxes will become the new 1-rep maxes will become few and far between. So you're much better off celebrating the wins of the sub-max sets, you know, the sets of 10, the sets of 3 and 5. So that'd be my advice, is don't get caught up in the 1-rep maxes. Any big biz or content plans for the year ahead? Honestly, I feel like in my 20s, I was more ambitious than I am now in my 30s. And that might sound like a negative thing, but I don't think it is. You know, you just want to conquer the world and create these kind of empires when it comes to business when you're, you know, when you're starting out. And then you start to realize like how much that takes away from other areas of your life. And so now I'm a lot more about narrowing down what I do. So I just really want to perfect my craft and improve my craft when it comes to creating videos and telling stories, and really go deep on this one thing. And maybe I'll build a business again and have staff, but at the moment I'm really enjoying just having me and my camera and my computer, and that's it. And being able to have heaps of flexibility and invest in experiences, you know, being able to travel and not worry about a business back home or a lease to pay. So no big business plans as such. You know, there's a few kind of little ventures, but I really want to focus on my personal brand, you know, get my website up, get the merch out, and really establish this channel as something special, you know, really a cool tribe that can support each other, somewhere where I can maybe encourage some people. And yeah, I think that's probably the main plan for this year, is go deep on the personal brand and this channel. Would you ever do a house tour on your YouTube channel? Maybe. I think through the videos I put out, you probably get to see majority of the house just as I shoot my normal videos. There is a video I put out maybe last year when we just moved in here, kind of showing the property. Maybe, but I think if you follow the channel regularly, you'll probably see a lot of the house as it is. Do you think Nike will finally sign you? No, they won't sign me. It's just a joke. I love Nike. Look at that, got Nike on right now. but no, they won't sign me. But I do think it's possible that I could work for them in the future, and that's a dream of mine. I should be able to shoot for Nike. So, you know, I think the here we go, English. I love it, I love English. I'm going to try and say this word, the trajectory. There you go, trajectory that my career is on now. I don't see why it's not possible to be able to work with and shoot for Nike one day, which would be pretty special. If I move to Queensland, can we do a braai? Mate, braai every night. Me and you, we will do it. Yeah, absolutely, all the time. Can I train with you? Yes, yes, please. One of the things that I find hard training from home is not having anyone to train with. So, mate, just hit me up, come over, let's train. Would you rather use single ply for the rest of your life or sandpaper ones? I would just go with the sandpaper ones, to be honest. I can't stand a low quality, thin toilet paper, you know? That's just, yeah, just the fear of the finger breaking through the toilet paper is just, it's not great. So yeah, sandpaper ones for sure. How is your day going? My day's going great. It's 10 a.m. I've gone for a walk with the family, had breakfast, had a session on the bike erg, so feeling very good, thanks for asking. Did you have a normal 9-to-5 job before filming, editing, photography? I started off as a fitness instructor at a gym, so I guess it's probably not a normal 9-to-5 because you're working kind of early mornings and late nights sometimes, but I've always kind of been entrepreneurial, help me Lord. I've always been business-minded and entrepreneurial, wow. Even as a youngster at high school, I used to go around to people's houses that had tennis courts and teach their kids how to play tennis. So I've always tried to work for myself. My dad's always worked for himself, so I think I kind of got that from him. I did work for the police in New Zealand for a bit, and that was probably the closest thing to a 9-to-5. But even then, that was such a free job, such a flexible and relaxed job, working with the police officers and keeping them fit. So yeah, I probably would say that I've never really had your typical 9-to-5. For the most part, I've run businesses and worked for myself. Where in South Africa are you from, and do you think the Boks are better than the ABs now? So for those who don't know, the Boks are the Springboks. It's the rugby union team in South Africa, and the ABs are the All Blacks from New Zealand. Now, growing up as a South African boy, you get brought up to absolutely despise and hate the All Blacks, and that's still very true for me. I'm a massive Springbok supporter, and the Springboks are currently the world champions. You know, they won the Rugby World Cup just a couple of years ago. In fact, I watched that with my friend Craig Ritchie. They were playing England, and Craig and Jazz were over here for the Torian Pro, and we watched that together, and the joy it gave me just to watch the Springboks beat the English. And I think I've got a photo of Craig's face that I'll throw in here. But to be honest, right now, I don't think so. I think the ABs are better right now. From what I understand, a lot of the Springbok players are playing over in Europe now. I've actually lost a bit of interest in rugby union, to be honest, so I'm not too sure where the Springboks are at, but they're playing right here in the Gold Coast in my backyard in a month's time, so I'll be watching that match. So yeah, hopefully they prove me wrong. Hopefully the Springboks are still the best in the world. What was the atmosphere like during the last workout at the games? Oh man. It was pretty intense because one of the main moments that I was there to capture was Matt's reaction to the new champion being crowned. And it would have been cool regardless of who that champion was, but it was extra special and extra emotional because it was Justin. Just because Matt's, you know, he's spent some time with Justin, they've got a cool relationship, you know, they had that great experience at the games in 2020 together. So yeah, it was very emotional. Sammy was very emotional, you know, there's some tears that flew and some tears that flew, wow. So yeah, I mean, the Medeiros family is such a passionate family, you know, Justin's mum and dad being right there at the finish line. In fact, someone gave up their seats for them to be there, and then Justin didn't know that they were gonna be there, so that moment was cool. I was literally just focused on Matt, so that was my experience, was just that intense emotion of watching Matt witness a new champion being crowned after him winning it 5 years in a row. So it was intense, it was emotional, it was beautiful. What is your main source of income at the moment? So my main source of income is the work I do as a freelance videographer and photographer. So I shoot a lot of videos for local companies, whether that is real estate people or restaurants. I try and mainly work with fitness brands. So we've got some great fitness brands here in Australia, the Wildlife, Alpha Fit, Gym and Fitness. There's some great fitness brands that use me, Active Eyewear. And so yeah, that's where my main source of income comes from. But a little secret, just for you guys, the tribe. I want to do this full time. Like, I want to create my own content, my own videos full time. And I believe once I get, my guess is once I get to like 100,000 subs, that's going to be a reality, maybe a bit sooner, maybe 50k subs. So if you're not subscribed yet, help a brother out. Maybe spread the word of the channel, help me get there. But that'll be the dream. It's just to be able to create my own content full time and make enough ad revenue through YouTube. But by saying that, I've got some great clients and I really appreciate and love them. What is the key to being a better photographer in CrossFit? Honestly, I think relationship with the athletes is such a key part in getting special photos or special moments. When you have a relationship with an athlete, they're a lot more open to you. They're a lot more open to giving you some emotion and cheekiness. So I actually think that getting to know the athletes is massively underrated. You know, like anyone can take a great photo with great equipment and a bit of training, but not a lot of people can get the special shots that the athlete will allow you to get when you know them. So yeah, invest in relationships. It pays off when it comes to snapping a nice photo. What's your biggest personal takeaway or growth from the last 18 months? Ooh, deep one. I think the biggest takeaway or growth piece of the last kind of 12 to 18 months is probably to put less pressure on myself to get so much done every day. You know, as someone who's pretty driven and ambitious, you just put so much pressure on yourself to get a million things done in one day. And I pretty much always finish my day disappointed with what I did. Like I didn't get to everything I wanted to do. And so one of the biggest growth pieces for me has been to do less each day, to put less pressure on myself to get things done. But to do those one or two things that I really want to get done, do them to a high level, high standard, and be satisfied that I've done well that day. So yeah, just taking a bit of pressure off myself when it comes to what I'm achieving on a daily basis. I think there's a saying out there that, you know, people overestimate what they can get done in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5 years. And it's that same thought process, like I overestimate all the time what I can get done in a single day. But if you just do the one or two things really well, it adds up and you probably end up achieving more than you think you would have over a longer period, if that makes sense. So that's what comes to mind. Do you want a place to stay when you come to visit Auckland? Sure, I mean, send me some photos of your place. What have you got? Have you got a home gym? Have you got a sauna? Have you got a spa? I don't know. Nah, jokes. I'll come and stay, even if you live in a one-bedroom apartment. To be honest, I have a lot of friends in Auckland, a lot of great close friends that I normally stay with, but I'll be happy to catch up and train. So I'll let you know when I'm there next. Why do you know so much about South Africa? Well, that's because I am South African. I don't think I know a lot about it. In fact, I probably feel more New Zealand Australian than I do South African these days. My Afrikaans is pretty broken, and I left there when I was 15, so my view of South Africa is pretty limited, you know, like I was a kid. But I do love that place, and that's why I know a bit about it, because I'm from there. When and why did you move to Australia? So I moved here in 2016 after being in New Zealand for 15 years. We had some family here that we came to visit regularly, so we got to see the place and kind of fell in love with the Gold Coast. And when our little boy passed away in 2014, we decided that we needed a change in life. And so by the time 2016 rolled around, we were brave enough to kind of make that move. The business was at a place where I could do it. And yeah, so that's probably the main reasons why we moved and when we moved. What shoes are you training in and like the most? Nike Metcons is definitely my go-to. I've got 3 pairs of these. I do have some Innovates, some Adidas. I've got a few other pairs of shoes, but my go-to, my favorites are still the Metcons for sure. And final question, are you keen to visit South Africa again soon? Absolutely. My daughter is now 9 years old. Maybe when she's like 14, 15, I'd love to take her over to show her where I grew up. Let her experience the wildlife. There's nothing like the wildlife in Africa. So definitely go and do safari. I've got lots of family in South Africa. My dad is one of 10 kids. So there's 10 other families around South Africa that I call family, you know, aunties and uncles and cousins. And my grandma's still there as well. So yes, I would, but probably not for another kind of 4 to 5 years. I'll come back and visit again. Guys, that was a lot of fun for me anyway. I hope you enjoyed it. Get to know me a bit more, and maybe we'll do another one of these in a month or two. But for now, we'll leave it there. You guys stay sexy, keep roaring love, and I'll see you soon. Mwah, bye.